We'll get started in about 2 minutes. If you're just getting in, enjoy some Radiohead.
I was about to just say, yeah, Anna, I'll send you a link. Then I realized she's not even on here, so she went here. I'm glad I caught myself there. Hey, Roman. I like your profile picture too, Ash.
Yes, Daria, we are accepting crypto now.
If any of you want to donate with crypto, feel free. We're probably waiting for that.
Yeah, I think Banana Coin is a better idea than Bitcoin.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, we'll get started in 1 minute.
Dariel has a superpower of relating everything back to bananas. Did it again.
All right, bring up the slides. All right, so I'm not going to go full screen yet because I want to share something with the fellows, but welcome to tonight's Bonfire. I'm really excited to be joined by Madison, one of last year's fellows, one of our builders, and this is her first Bonfire, so please welcome her, and thanks for joining us, Madison.
Yeah, first time ever attending a bonfire. I'm really excited. I feel like I'm gonna learn a lot.
Gonna be great. So before we get into the actual lesson tonight, which is how to manage your time and get stuff done, I wanted to make a quick announcement. We are going to make a slight schedule change to the fellowship. I'm going to be sharing a revised syllabus with you tonight that will condense the fellowship. That way we can end before Memorial Day weekend. You're not going to miss any material. It's still the same amount of material. We're just going to be condensing it. We originally had a break scheduled in mid-May, but we talked as a team and thought that that was unnecessary, that we'd rather go strong for these next 7-8 weeks and finish up before Memorial Day. And so if you look at our fellowship roadmap to see where we are, you can see that we're currently in Unit 2, the personal development unit. So tonight we're here at Lesson 7, how to manage your time and get stuff done. We have one more lesson next week in personal development. And then we're going to start our big unit on systems thinking. There's a reason that this comes at the end. It's because it's kind of the most complex material. A lot of you probably haven't gotten systems thinking lessons in school before. And so before we could jump into that, we needed to go over this personal development work that we're doing now. But I'll share this with you again. You always have access to this calendar. Main thing for you to know is that our last lesson, our last official bonfire, will be on May 24th. And that way you will be off of Zoom as far as CU goes for a few weeks. We will still have programming after this, but the official end date of our bonfires is going to be May 24th. That way you can enjoy your Memorial Day weekend. And if you have any questions about that, you can feel free to Slack me or email me about the schedule. All right, let's go into full screen. Can you see those slides, Madison?
Yep.
Great. All right, take it away with our agenda for tonight.
Okay, great. So today we're going to be answering lots of questions about how to manage your time and get things done. First, we're going to talk about what is time management and why does it matter, and then go over how to be better at time management, and then answer why is it hard to get stuff done and what are some ways that I can get better at getting things done. And as always, we will end with a Q&A and breakout hangout.
Okay, last week, if you forgot what we talked about the science of learning. You shared with us tons of ways that you all learn, and then we shared ways that we learn. And hopefully you left with some new tips and tricks and ideas about how you can learn best. Now, tonight, we're going to talk about how to manage your time and get stuff done. And that is very, very intricately linked to how you learn.
Yeah, so to get us started off, we're going to have you all answer, why are time management skills important to cultivate? And go ahead and put those in the Slack channel.
So why do we need time management skills? Accountability.
Work and play, that's so important. And it's a hard skill to have too.
Better achieve our goals. Love that.
Yeah, organization. Yep.
The stress part is huge, Ben. Yeah, if you don't have time management skills, you're always going to be stressed doing things at the last minute.
Yes, Ella, being less stressed and procrastinating. I know that when I don't account for my time and try and block out things, I never know if I'm going to be able to get things done or not, and it causes a lot of unnecessary stress. Yeah, achieving more goals.
True, Ashley. We're all confined by time. So true. It's the one thing that you can't buy more of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Naeli. So we don't miss out on important activities because of being caught up in another.
Getting more things done, be more effective, and have your stress minimized. Yes, 100% agree with all of these. Thank you for all of these responses. Okay, so you've kind of told us why you think time management matters, and we 100% agree with you. As far as why we think time management matters, it's because time management is all about maximizing and optimizing your days, weeks and months and years to achieve your goals and your desired quality of life. Just about everybody is a dreamer when they're younger. I know I was, and I know many of you are. But without good time management skills, your life will too often be filled with disappointment because you'll be unable to turn those dreams into a reality. And that's one of our goals as an organization at CU, is to help you turn those dreams into a reality.
Yeah, so it's important to ask, what does it even mean to manage your time? So basically, our definition is time management looks like someone who is consistently doing what they have deemed as helpful for achieving their goals. And so that would mean that an expert time manager plans their days so that they can accomplish their daily goals, plans their weeks so that they can accomplish their weekly goals, their months so they can accomplish their monthly goals, and so on for annual goals and even longer ones as well.
And so if new and urgent tasks come up, an expert time manager is going to be able to shift around their day and week and maybe even month or maybe even year to accommodate new priorities that may trump previous priorities. That's a sign of a great time manager is being able to shift around their day. If they incorrectly estimate how long something takes, whether it's because it took longer or shorter than expected, then they learn from that, right? And they factor in that difference in future time planning. The worst thing that you can do is keep doing the same thing over and over again. If you learn from those mistakes and how you were budgeting your time, then you're going to get better at being an expert time manager.
Okay, so time for another rapid response. Our question is, what makes it hard to manage your time to accomplish your goals? Too much to do.
True.
Yes.
Distractions, yes. Anxiety
Anxiety,
can play a role.
yeah, procrastination, schedule changes.
Motivation.
Mm.
Yeah, social media, another distraction.
Oh yeah, mandatory classes or clubs, things that you don't even really enjoy doing that you have to do. Temptation, being tired, that's huge as well.
Busy work, yeah. No, nobody wants to spend time doing busy work.
Oh yeah, family obligations. I have a big family, so I definitely felt that one too.
Boring work, yep.
Yeah, burnout, that's big too, and that's hard to manage. Busy work. Mm-hmm.
Discord. I think you're talking about the technology platform, but also just having Discord in your life makes it hard also to accomplish your
Yeah.
goals. So that works
Yeah.
both ways. Book addiction. I mean, I think that's a good problem to have if you really enjoy reading books.
Yeah.
You're going to be
Yeah.
learning. But yeah, it can make it hard to accomplish other goals.
Yeah. Hobbies, trying to strike that balance.
Dario, you can tell me how to define Discord later, so I don't make that mistake again.
Mm. Time flying by too quickly. Ooh, yeah.
Great. Thank you for all these responses, everyone. So here's what we think is hard about time management, and you said a lot of these already. First is energy management, right? Managing your own energy, whether that's a lack of energy or too much energy. Second is attention, right? Where you devote your attention is really hard sometimes, and a lot of times you don't have a say in that. Like some of you pointed out, you might have to do busy work in order to get the grades that you need in order to pass a class and eventually graduate high school. Third, social pressure. You might feel pressure from your friends to jump on the tech platform Discord. You might also have trouble with your own memory, forgetting what you need to do. Right, that makes time management hard. And then finally, unexpected tasks. Tasks are going to come up every day, every week, every month that you were not planning on. And if you don't have a plan to meet those unexpected tasks, then they could overwhelm you. So let's talk about these in a little bit more depth because they're important.
Yeah, so the first is energy management because it doesn't matter if you plan out your day perfectly. If you don't have the energy to do things, what's the point, right? And it's hard to manage your energy because there are so many factors out of our control that, dictate whether or not you have energy to do something. And so what you can do is try to gain agency over those things that you can control. Most of the time, that would be your sleep schedule, trying to get 7 or 8 hours a night and incorporating a diet that doesn't bring you down. Also, surrounding yourself with people that don't drain you and lift you up. Also, as much as you can, doing things that you love or at least see value in. I know that I would do extracurriculars that I didn't actually enjoy, and that would affect all other things in my personal and academic life. So it's really important to be doing other things that really energize you for things outside of that as well.
Yeah, good call out by Roman. I just saw in the chat too. Exercise is super important at maintaining energy levels.
Yeah.
It seems like a paradox, but if you exercise and work out, you actually have more energy. Maybe not right away. You need like a half hour, but you'll have more energy eventually.
Yep.
Great. Next is attention management. So why does this affect your time management? Well, it doesn't matter if you block out your time. If you aren't focused when you have that time, it's going to be very difficult to get stuff done. So even if you have 2 hours blocked off in your schedule and you sit down and you're ready to read, if you get distracted by your tech platform Discord, then it's going to be very hard to do that. So we live in an age of these unprecedented distractions, and it's not going to be easy. How you can do better at this is to go to or create spaces that will meet your needs. If you're someone who needs a quiet space, go to a quiet space. If you're someone who needs background noise, go to a place like that. You know what's going to be best for this. I think it is best probably to try to turn off maybe your phone or apps that are going to distract you. Um, but in terms of the space that you're in, try different things. I used to think I needed complete silence in order to study or get things done, but I found I actually was able to study with noise in the background. That actually helped me when I was studying for exams. So find what works for you, and you'll be better able to devote your attention.
All right, next is social pressure. So, again, even if you plan out your day perfectly, if your peers or parents have different plans for you, the plans may be completely scrapped. And it's hard to manage social pressure because humans are social creatures. We do lots of things we don't even want to do just because we perceive some kind of social value from doing it. And so, what you can do to manage this is to be as upfront with your friends and others about when you'll be unavailable and what you're working towards. If they don't respect those goals, maybe they are not the best fit to be friends.
Okay, your own memory. So why does your own memory affect your time management? Well, time management is about getting things done. If you don't remember to do the things that are essential to your success, it doesn't matter if you think you're being efficient. You don't know what you don't know. That's kind of an aphorism that is true. And if you don't remember it, then you don't even remember that you forgot to do it. So why is this hard? It's because we're all humans. We're not machines. We're not computers. We can only hold so much in our head at any given time. The most successful entrepreneurs often have to remember thousands of pieces of information in any given week, and that's really really difficult. All these names and faces, and companies and statistics and figures and dollar amounts. It's really hard for anyone to keep that all in their head. And if you're not working at it, I mean, if you don't have a system devoted to it, you can slip up and make big mistakes. And so, how you can get better at this, outside of doing brain exercises like crossword puzzles or word games, is to make sure you document what you need to know. So write up to-do lists, take copious notes, keep a detailed calendar. All of these things helps so much. My own personal experience with this is I've met probably thousands of people at this point who have helped support CU along the way. And after I have a conversation with them, I always write down notes. And then before my next call with them, I look back at those notes to remind me what I talked about with them. And that really, really helps. And they appreciate that you remember that previous conversation when you're having another conversation. So remember notes, to-do lists, and keep that detailed calendar.
Yeah, that's a great process. I almost always have a piece of paper and a pen right beside me so I can just jot down whatever I'm thinking about. But last is improving your time management ability. So it's important to continually improve your time management over time because you don't have to be super smart to be good at time management, right? You can use the skill to your advantage no matter who you are. But it is hard to get better at time management because it's not even obvious where you start. What aspects of how you manage your time can even be made better? So you can better understand time management by after you understand that you can improve your time and the accuracy of your measurements, how consistently you block off time, how focused and energized you are during those blocks, how swiftly you're able to reprioritize when new things come up, and more. You can start measuring these sub skills and improving them. Basically, like Nick said, knowing what you're good at, knowing what you're not good at, and how you can improve those things. Okay, time for another rapid response. So take a minute to think of, do you think that you could be better about where you spend your time? And where do you feel like you spend too much time right now? Go ahead and drop those answers in the Slack channel. Discord again.
Yeah, more tech platform Discord.
Unnecessary breaks. Switching between apps. I felt that, Lucy, and you don't even enjoy switching between the apps, but you just kind of get in a loop of it. Yeah, definitely felt that. TikTok on your phone.
Yeah, a
Social
lot of
media.
TikToks I'm seeing.
Yeah, Instagram.
Texting.
Oh, too much time at school. Gaming, napping, Netflix. College videos. Texting. Spotify playlists. That sounds like Chabu.
Yeah, a couple of people have mentioned that, rearranging Spotify playlists. I just dump everything into one big playlist. When I hear a song I like, I just throw it in there and then I just keep adding to it. That way.
Me too.
Yeah. I'm not disciplined enough to cultivate individual ones. Everyone's saying no. Oh my gosh. It's like creating my own radio station that I'm building a catalog of 10,000 songs now.
Nick, it's okay. I do the same thing. Totally acceptable.
Thank you.
Then I just put it on shuffle and I'm always surprised. Like, ooh, I forgot about this song. I like it though.
Yeah, exactly. And 100% just shuffle it, all those songs, and keep adding to it. Wow. This might be something that I work on. I see a lot of people are saying to categorize. Okay, that could be a growth area for me.
Moods and different times of day.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to the next question. The counter to that one.
Yeah. So the next question is, where do you think you spend too little time? Nick, apparently we spend too little time making playlists.
Exactly. I need to spend way more time on that.
Studying, things you actually enjoy. Yeah.
Studying, reading.
SAT practice, sleeping. Yeah. Homework.
I see a lot of AP exams. Now they're getting closer to May. People are getting nervous, it seems like, for that.
Socializing.
AP tutor. Daryl, maybe I'll hold an AP Gov review session if people are interested in that as we get closer to May.
You should charge, Nick.
No, it'll be free.
Long-term goals. Yeah, CU was like the first time I had actually been encouraged to like sit down and think about super long-term goals as well.
Cool. Yeah, Roman's offers some help for a push. I could help with a push too if more people are in that. But AP Gov definitely I'm more of an expert in. Cool. Thank you for all of these responses. I didn't mean to turn into an AP thread. All right. So here's where we think your time goes. And this is no secret. This is where everybody's time goes. So sleeping, that's going to take up at least a third of your day, probably, if you're getting the full 8 hours that most of us need to function. Entertainment. So you mentioned all of the ways that you entertain yourselves: video games, social media, etc., tech platform, Discord, commuting. That's changed a lot since the pandemic. A lot of people have saved a lot of time by not commuting the long hours that they used to. But as the country and the world seems to open up some more, then I think people will start to lose time to commuting again. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Dining, you got to eat. It's probably beneficial to take at least a half hour or an hour to relax and enjoy your food and not just eat to live. Learning, we all spend lots of time learning. That's why you're at school. For some of you are at school for 6 to 8 hours. Socializing, that takes up lots of time. Contemplative practices, if you're someone who likes to quiet things down and perhaps meditate, or you might go to church or synagogue or mosque. Those things take up time, but it can be well worth it if it helps you. And then family time. Madison said that she had a big family, so I'm assuming that, Madison, that means do you have certain days where you spend more time with your family, or is it every day?
Yeah, usually the weekends, and I seem to have a birthday party at least once a week for someone. So someone in my family. So yeah.
That's cool. No, that's great. And look, all of these things are important, and we shouldn't replace them with work. That's not the goal. The goal is to find the proper balance between all of these things, and then the work that's necessary to get your goals accomplished. And that balance is different for everyone. And really, one of the goals of becoming an adult is finding that balance. And so we're here to help you try to achieve that. And so there's no one right way to do this. But the biggest piece of advice that we can offer is for you to pre-plan your day every day, so you're clear on what success for that day looks like for you. And if you're not clear on that, it can be hard to say whether you had a successful day or not. And we're going to suggest that you do that by using a calendar to document what you want to accomplish and what you think you can accomplish during a day. And so here's an example of how some people do it. Our co-founder and chief operating officer, Gary, I'd say is probably the most disciplined person I've ever seen on calendaring out their day. He goes to the extreme on this, but I think it's good to see this example. Don't worry though if you don't do this, but it's helpful to know how some people block off their time. And someone like him has been very successful by using this strategy. So he actually blocks off time for sleep, exercise, showering, breaks built into his day, work focus time with his phone off, his daily meetings, commuting, his meals, getting ready for bed. That's all actually in a calendar, and he does his best to stick to that every day. And he's pretty darn good at it from what I've observed. Now, the caveat here is that it's totally okay if you don't do this. I don't, for instance, calendar out my meals. I don't calendar out my sleep or my break time. I just calendar out my meetings and what I need to get done every day. And so if you looked at my calendar, it looked very different than Gary's. If you looked at our other co-founder, Josh's calendar, it would look very different also. There's no right way to do this, but the suggestion I want to make is that you do start using a calendar to help you manage your time and to keep track of meetings. As you get a little bit older, you're going to have more and more obligations and more meetings. I mean, some of you already have tons of obligations, and your days and nights are full already. It's only going to benefit you to see that on a calendar.
Yep, and I'm kind of in the middle of Gary and Nick there. I calendar out all my meetings and things I need to get done, but I also still calendar my exercise and sometimes meals. And so it's cool to see how there's definitely a big spectrum there. But so here are 4 key benefits of being disciplined about blocking off time and your calendar in advance. So first, it's much easier to deal with new requests on your time. If you don't block out your calendar, you're not going to know if you're going to have enough time to go to that dinner with friends or to watch a movie with your family at the end of the night. It just alleviates a lot of stress knowing that you're going to be able to get things done throughout the day. Next, you save a lot of energy that is used figuring out what to do. I know that when I used to use a to-do list, which is what I used to be obsessed with doing, I would end up having to go home anyway and having to allocate time for how I was going to get everything done anyway. So a lot of times you end up blocking off your calendar anyway, even if it's not formally. So I just found that it's a lot easier to do that beforehand. Next, you're able to get way more done because it's extremely motivating to know that if you just follow the plan that you created earlier, you'll be able to have the satisfaction of winning the day and having a very accomplished day. Lastly, you're able to improve the way you spend your time over time. As we mentioned earlier, it can be kind of hard to predict how long certain things will take. I know that for me, I am notorious about thinking things are going to take way longer time than they actually do, but it actually comes with an added benefit because I finish a lot of things before the time I allocated for it ends. Then I get this sense of, like the sense of satisfaction when I have some extra time to myself as well. So, yep.
Okay, so let's transition a little bit to actually getting stuff done. We've talked about time management, but what does it even mean to be effective at getting stuff done? So what that looks like, what it feels like. Well, what productive looks like is someone consistently accomplishing the tasks they have deemed as helpful to achieve their goals. And so a productive person routinely accomplishes these daily goals, weekly goals, and long-term goals, and develops a reputation by the people around them as an executor or doer. If you work at a company, if people start referring to you as an executor, that's a good thing. It's not like French Revolution guillotine executing, it's executing your tasks. It's good stuff. Now, here are some other signs that you're being productive besides a reputation that you might be developing. First is that you forget that you're working. This is like kind of like getting in the zone, right? Some of you experience this a lot of times when you're reading. You forget, an hour can go by when you're reading a book that you really enjoy. And the same thing can happen when you're doing work, actually. If you're writing something that you're truly passionate about and really excited about, it doesn't feel like you're working. It feels like you have a purpose. You feel good behind it. And then at the end of that process, your goals are accomplished. All of those are signs that you're being productive.
All right, time for another rapid response. So what types of strategies or apps do you use to get stuff done? And I'm excited to hear about these as well. Yell at yourself in your head. Never heard that one before. Notion. Yes, I
Yes.
love Notion so much. Post-it notes, planner, reminder, and clock app. I cannot even tell you how many alarms I have on my phone. Music, Google Calendar. Yes, Google Calendar. Love it.
Timers. Yeah, we're going to talk about timers. That's a good one.
Never heard of the Block app.
Pomodoro, we're going to talk about that. Nice, Victoria.
Accountability buddies. Yes, that's amazing.
Planners, timers. Good. Great. Thank you for these responses. All right, so here are some of our suggestions. Some of you named these already, so we'll run through them quickly. I have links built in here also, so when I send the slides, if you haven't heard of these, you can just click on the links for the more obscure ones. So apps that track your to-dos. You can, if you're a Microsoft person, they have Microsoft To Do. Apple, you have Apple Reminders. Todoist is another one. For drafting and managing documents, many of you said Notion. That's obviously something that we use at CU. Google Docs and Drive, still super important. Notes app, awesome. Squibbler, those are all great drafting and managing documents. Personal knowledge management, again, Notion, great one. Evernote can organize your notes. Bear is another notes app that's pretty cool. How to communicate with others. Some important apps, obviously, iMessage, WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, Slack, which we, again, obviously use at CU, and then Microsoft Teams. How to schedule and manage your time, the calendar app, multiple ones. You could use iCalendar, Google Calendar, etc. And then somebody mentioned, I think it was Victoria mentioned Pomodoro timer. It doesn't have to be a Pomodoro timer. You can use really any timer, but if you set it for around 25 minutes or 30 minutes, that's a great way to focus for those 25 to 30 minutes and then take a break and then go back to it. And a cool app for saving and sending snippets is called Text Expander. This is something we use at CU. If, for instance, you find yourself typing the same thing over and over, the same sentence, you can use Text Expander to save yourself time by just typing in one word, and then it'll automatically trigger the full sentence. So you don't have to type out the full sentence or the full paragraph or whatever it may be. Okay, so remember, There are thousands of apps and tools available to us to help us reach our goals. But the key is learning and choosing which apps, tools, and services work best for you to get things done.
So, how can we continually get better at getting things done? By learning new skills and habits. And we're going to go over 6 of those right now. Okay, so first is getting in the discipline of doing weekly reviews of your goals. We kind of do something similar with our Junto structure, but basically it looks like setting goals for yourself at the beginning of each week, maybe like your top 3 goals, and then at the end of the week, reviewing whether or not you finished them and why. Next is getting in the discipline of getting your inbox to 0 every time you check your email, just so you make sure that you're getting all the information you need and updating any tasks or calendars accordingly. And then doing what you say you're going to do. Obviously, it's very important that if you calendar out your time, you're actually doing what you say you're going to do, so you don't have tasks pouring over into the next day, week, month, etc. And then next is being honest about your ability to get things done. I know I used to be someone who notoriously overcommitted to things and would say, I'm going to join this activity, or I'll go to this event. And I would be very overwhelmed with everything that I had to do. And so it's so important to get in the habit of being honest about what you can and can't do and striking that balance between work and life. Next is the discipline of shutting out distractions. I know we talked a lot about social media, gaming, and all these things that distract us. It's really important to get in the discipline of when you're wanting to get in the flow, turning your phone on airplane mode or do not disturb so you can actually get things done. And then lastly, I would argue that this is the hardest one to do, is the ability to shift priorities and calendar as you go. I mean, as you all know with school, sometimes you never know how much homework a teacher is going to give or what's going to happen with your extracurricular activities. And so this one's very difficult, but it's a super important skill to cultivate, especially as you go on further in life.
All right, so we both wanted to share a big project example and how we were able to accomplish this task. The one that I chose was a recent example. When we were putting together the fellowship, I had to take 500 of you and sort you into 50 juntos and coordinate that with the adults, the guides that would be leading those juntos. And it was a pretty complex task because we had fellows in pretty much every time zone in the country. And I was trying to make sure that people were in the same time zone for simplicity's sake when assigning these juntos. Also tried to group it close by age. You know, if you were a freshman, I was trying to place you in a junto that had a few other freshmen as well. Or if you're a senior, maybe placing you with more seniors. And then finally, age, then location and your interests were kind of third and fourth factors. If I wasn't able to do that, then I apologize. If you found yourself in a junto with people who were nowhere near where you lived and had none of the same interests with you, I apologize. But I did try my best to factor that in slightly into the junto sorting. But the takeaway is this was a huge project. This is not something I was ever prepared for to do in school. I was never taught how to organize 500 people based on time zone, age, location, and interest. But I was able to accomplish it by making sure I calendared out enough time in each day and took breaks and rechecked my work. And by doing this for 5 straight days, devoting, I think it was around like 4 or 5 hours a day to it because I still had some other meetings to take care of. I was able to accomplish it, and I was able to put you all in your juntos. And luckily, there weren't that many mistakes, and we were able to get everybody into a junto that they were happy with. And if you recall, some of you weren't able to meet the first junto that I assigned you with, and it was a pretty simple process to get that changed and pretty painless. So I was happy with this, but I couldn't have done it without good time management skills.
Yeah, Nick, from personal experience, you did a great job. Love my junto. Shout out to my junto. But yeah, so my big project example is CU Summer Camp, which some of you are very familiar with because you attended. So last April, Nora, Mariam, and I decided to create a virtual summer camp in response to the mass cancellations of COVID-19. So that means in just 2 months, we had to get to know one another, because we had been in the fellowship together, but we weren't in each other's juntos, so we didn't really know each other. Design the summer camp, what we wanted the programming to look like, and everything like that. Get the word out about the application, so like reach out to partner organizations, advertise on social media, and review hundreds of applications from kids from across the country and decided who we wanted to accept. So how did we do all of this in 2 months? Well, I would be lying if we said that we did it all on our own. We had tons of help from Nick and Gary, who taught us about what even needs to be done in creating a virtual community. But also, one of the biggest takeaways was, especially when you're working in a group setting, it is so important to distribute specific roles to different people and know what each person owns. So like Mariam is the person who sends out acceptances. Nora is the one who looks at applications. Madison is the one who runs like the Saturday hangout events, and so on. Just knowing what people are responsible for and what they have the most knowledge about is so effective in getting things done in a group setting.
Okay, so we could talk all night about this. There are thousands of YouTube videos that you could also watch about getting things done. And there are so many strategies, practices, and apps that will help you manage your time that we didn't cover today. So it's going to be up to you to continue this journey. And it really is a lifelong journey. I'm still trying to get better at time management and getting things done. It does not stop as you get older. And so the two final takeaways we want you to walk away with tonight is first, with infinite distractions in the world, it's very tempting to put off the tasks that you need to accomplish. But that short-term gratification of procrastinating cannot compare to the long-term sense of accomplishment and purpose you're going to feel when you get that big stuff done. It feels really great to look back and say, I was able to accomplish this. And it feels way better than that kind of sugar rush of procrastinating in the moment. And second, there are so many tools and apps available to help you get this done. You're not on an island with this stuff. And so the key is figuring out which works best for you. And hopefully after tonight's lesson, you have some ideas of where to start and you can start experimenting with which of these is going to work best for you.
Okay, so now for this week's quest, we actually have 2 quests this week. The first one is an anchors quest that will help you identify people, places, activities, groups, and anything else that ground you and help you stay on your path or mission. And the next is a role identities quest that helps you identify the hats you will wear in your life depending on the situation you are in.
Great. This week's recommendation is a documentary. Gary actually mentioned it today in our team meeting. It's about the company WeWork. It's on Hulu. If any of you are interested in entrepreneurship and business and the economy, it comes highly recommended. It's about the founder of this company and his rise and fall. And I think if some of you are interested in entrepreneurship and business, it's going to be a good cautionary tale of what can happen if you're not in the right mindset. Announcements. We're going to be having another Nick's New Knowledge session next week. It's likely going to be on Tuesday night. I'll give you more details as we get closer to it. The topic is probably going to be about a recent Supreme Court case involving a high school student's free speech rights. I think that's something that many of you will be interested in, and I'm really interested in that free speech stuff, especially in schools. On Saturday, Rushank is hosting a trivia event at 11:30 a.m. Eastern. Please don't miss that. And then at 6:30 p.m., there is going to be a GeoGuessr game, which is a geography game that takes you on a journey around the world and challenges your ability to recognize your surroundings. That sounds really fun and really challenging. If you have any ideas for Saturday Hangouts or are interested in hosting one yourself, please reach out to Madison. All right, let's do some Q&A. Put the Q&A into the Zoom chat. We'll answer your questions. And then afterwards, hang around for a breakout hangout. Daria will post the link in the Slack channel.
Awesome. So Janet is asking, I was wondering where I could find the recordings of the session and the others. So you can actually go to our YouTube channel, which is just Civics Unplugged, and we have all of the bonfires recorded, and we also have some other great resources on there. We have treks, which are short conversations that we upload, old other conversations like unplugged conversations, and there's just tons of great stuff on there for you to explore. All right. Anna asks, are to-do lists on paper as good as digital platforms? I think this is really up to your preference. I think that I personally prefer digital platforms. Like I use Microsoft To Do because it's a lot easier to adjust things. Like if I don't have to do anything anymore, I can easily delete it or add something new and it looks really nice and clean. But Nick, what do you think?
I'm fine with paper. Some of the other CU staff members would make fun of me because I had these little note cards that I would take into meetings with me or calls. I would like write little notes on a note card about a person. So I think it's totally fine. Gary would probably tell me that it's a waste to write it down on paper and that it should be digitized, but it worked for me. So I think it's okay to use paper once in a while.
Yeah, it's really just your preference, whatever works best for you.
Especially for short-term tasks too. Totally fine to put it on paper.
Yep. So Chelsea says, can you explain what the fellow schedule will look like in phase 3? Will we still meet with our Juntos and have hangouts? Yes, so until the end of the fellowship, we will be having hangouts and having our Juntos and everything. Nick, you might want to speak to anything that would be explicitly different.
Yeah, so I think she's referring to on the syllabus. Phase 3 is after the bonfires are over, when we do the drafting of the pledges. And so at that point, we actually will stop having bonfires and formal juntos. There won't be at that point. That'll be kind of summer break. We're still going to have programming over the summer for you, though. And if you ever want to get together with your junto, you're more than welcome to. We are by no means stopping Civics Unplugged at that point. We are by no means kicking you out of the community at all. It's just that you will be finishing up the fellowship, almost graduating from it and becoming builders. And we hope that you stick around for programming after that.
Great. So Brendan said, did we skip the systems to build and process goals quests? I am not sure. Nick?
Systems to build and process goals quests. No, we have not skipped those quests. I can share out the detailed list of all the quests if you want, but we are not skipping those.
Great. Mary says, does having an accountability partner have a real effect on your overall productivity in general? I would say it depends on the person and who your accountability partner is. Like if I found that if your accountability partner is your best friend, then maybe it's not as effective because they're going to let you get by with more things. But if it's someone who's an acquaintance and you want to make sure that, you kind of set these expectations with each other, then I've found that it can be more effective. All right, so what opportunities do we have to continue being involved with CU after this? So during the third phase of the fellowship, we will continue doing occasional community-wide events such as Saturday Hangouts, and you all will be encouraged to, host events of your own. Of course, you will still be in the Slack, so you can engage with each other there. And also, we will be having a fall fellowship, and there will be some opportunities for fellows to potentially apply to be guides for that fellowship as well. And so there will be other opportunities like that will come up in the future.
Yeah, and like I said, we're still going to have programming over the summer. I'll still be running sessions, maybe not as frequently. We'll probably experiment with some new sessions over the summer. It just won't be part of the formal fellowship, but there will be lots of opportunities. And the way to stay involved is just to keep checking the Slack. We'll be posting opportunities there and let you know about new ones that pop up. Great. I think that's it for questions. Really appreciate everybody joining tonight. Thank you so much, Madison, for being a great co-host. And we'll see everybody soon.
Bye. Thank you all.